Hi, everybody. Welcome to this Friday afternoon. I was just sitting here. Actually, Morgan was in here. I know you wouldn't know it now because she ran off the minute that I said, okay, it's a minute left. But she was sitting here with me reading through all of your comments about the weather and the snow, which is awesome. I told Bo that East Tennessee is supposed to be getting some snow, but I have a feeling where we're going in Nashville, we're not going to see any, which it's not the end of the world because we don't have a lot of experience driving in the snow. Bo was born and raised here in Florida. And I, even though I was born and raised in Ohio, right about the time I turned 16, we moved to Florida. So anyway, welcome again. I'm Carolyn, if you don't know, from Swan City Yarns. And something that I keep forgetting to do week after week is to make a quick plug. If you have not yet subscribed, I would love for you to do that so that you get notified. Well, you don't necessarily get notified of a new video unless you hit the bell for notifications, and you do have to be signed into your account to do that. But if you subscribe and you don't hit the bell, what I have found happens is that when you open up YouTube in your account, then those videos tend to pop up of the, they're like the recent videos. So I hope that you subscribe, and I hope you get the bell for notifications, especially if you can't be here every Friday. And I'm so thankful that you all have joined in. I was looking, I noticed, oh, thank you, Carol, my sweater. So that was one of the things Morgan and I were talking about. I said, are you going to stay and show them what you're wearing? Because she was wearing her campsite cardi that I made for her in, was it spruce? No, it was English holly was the colorway that I knit it in for her. And I said, are you taking it to Nashville? And she said, no, I don't know. This is my indoor sweater. I don't want to take it outdoors and get it dirty and stuff like that. So, anyway, this is one of my Cumulus blouses. So I wore the vintage colorway last week in it. And then this is the one that I did. Oh goodness. This is Paint the Town Red up here. And down here is berry. And I think if I remember correctly, I remember where I got this idea from. Although I think Ann Warner, you have done this before also. This particular idea I got from Jess at Ginger Twist Studios, because right before I started knitting this, she posted a picture of a different sweater, but it was a bright, I want to say the same idea. It was a bright red and then something else underneath, and she had interchanged it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something like that. I'm going to be fun and just do different rows. So that's what I did. And I didn't, because they were two solid colors, I did not fade them. Well, I guess technically I did. I did one row. I alternated rows for like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 rows each. So I guess technically that is like fading. So I guess I did fade them. But because they're solids, they look more like stripes rather than, a traditional speckled fade. So yeah, thank you, though. I appreciate that. And all right, so y'all, hey, everybody. You know what, Valera, I was noticing as I was reading the comments, I'm going to point you out because I think we have all been spelling your name wrong. I just realized that because I always think of VA, and I think somebody else did it here earlier, and it's VE. And I'm like, did I spell her name wrong when I wrote her a note? I bet I did. I apologize. When I was younger, people would spell my name wrong all the time. They would spell it like Caroline instead of Carolyn. And it used to bother me. Now, I don't care. And I'll answer to Carol, Carrie, whatever. Call me what you want. Care Bear. So anyway, but I don't like it when I do that. So welcome, everybody. And I hope that some of you all are enjoying this wonderful weather. We are at a beautiful, sunshiny, but cool 66 degrees right now, which at first when I put this on, I was like, it might be a little warm for this, but I'll be going out and running to the grocery store later this evening. And I'm pretty sure that I'll want it then because it will cool back down even more. So yeah. And then as y'all may or may not know, tomorrow, well, you should know, y'all should know. I've announced it enough. Tomorrow I will be at She Sells Yarn with Bo doing a trunk show there. And I have, if you're local and you'll be there, this I've also posted. This is the giveaway, the day after giveaway prize. And it's 2 skeins of Trusty Sock, and it's Harvest and Till We Meet Again. So that you can find out how to win that if you come by. No purchase is actually necessary, just so you know. All right. So, and then Sunday morning early, like we decided we have to leave by 4 a.m. We used to leave by like 3. That was, in the old days when I would drive to Ohio and make it in a straight shot. Actually, I did that with my mom coming south. We did it in a straight shot. But in the old days, we would leave at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't quite leave that early anymore. I'm just getting too old for that. In fact, I might be getting too old for straight shots from here to Ohio in the future. I don't know. But I mean, I did do it about a month or so ago, but I don't know if that'll be happening again. It's pretty rough. But driving to Nashville, Bo will do most of the driving. So, and it's a 12-hour trip there. So that's doable. And we want to go to our favorite Mexican restaurant Sunday night. So we figure we'll leave at 4 a.m. in the morning and we'll make it there, hopefully with stops. I don't know. We'll get there by 6 or a little after, and we can go by our favorite Mexican restaurant. We'll see. So anyway, I thought today, oh, good. Then, okay. So I spelled, all right, maybe I caught it before I spelled it wrong. So yeah. Yeah, 4 a.m. it's awfully early, but like I said, Bo will do most of the driving. So if he can do it, then I might take naps. In fact, that's kind of my MO. I will fall asleep faster in a car if I'm not driving. I mean, we go to his sister's house in, oh gosh, what is the name? Ocoee. So it's up in the Orlando area, but it takes us about an hour and a half to get there, depending on traffic. And I'm not kidding you. I fall asleep. If I'm driving, I'll stay awake. I guess it's a mental thing. I can even drive through the night, or at least the last time I did an overnight trip, I drove through the night and stayed awake. But if I'm not driving, I'm just not reliable. You can't keep, don't count on me to keep you awake because I'm out. No matter what time of day, I'm out. It's just relaxing, I guess. I don't know. So having said that, I thought it might be fun to go through the knits that I'm going to take with me to Nashville, because I looked and it looks like, I think it said that Monday gets a little bit warm, but then a cold front is coming through, and it should be in the 50s. Like that should be the high, which for me, that's perfect for wearing my hand knits. Some of y'all that are, more acclimated to colder temperatures might be like, that's oven, especially if the sun's out. And we do go on walks and hikes and things like that. So probably not for that if we're out, exercising and all that. But for, the shopping and the coffee drinking and things like that we like to do, my knits will be perfect. And maybe visiting some yarn shops, those, my hand knits will be perfect for those types of activities. So I thought I would go through the first thing. I had Morgan bring this in. I'll probably take this, but this is my inside cardigan. I don't know if y'all remember this, who've been around a while. This is my big cozy cardigan, the pattern, and that's going to be, I didn't write these down in my notes. So let's see if I remember all of these patterns and colorways. But this is the big cozy cardigan by Andrea Mowry, and I did it in Out of the Mist and Renewal. So, and the reason it's my inside cardigan is because it's not overly practical to do stuff in. Like I'll put it on at night underneath the fan and the AC sometimes if it's cold, or in the mornings. Lately it's been chilly in the mornings if I take the dog out. So I'll put this on to, stand there while I'm waiting for her to do her morning constitutional. But it's, if I come in and then start laying out supplements or something like that, as soon, it just kind of takes everything in its path. So it's not overly practical to really work in, but it's like Morgan said, it's like wearing a blanket with little armholes. And that's exactly what it is. So, but I do love it. It is super comfy and cozy. So I'll probably take that for when we're, sitting around watching the boob tube at night before we go to bed. So that's that. Let's see. We'll start with this pile here because I have a pile here. I have a pile here. And then I have a pile here. And then I have a stack of socks underneath. So this is next. I won't put them all on. This is the Pearl Code cardigan. I did say that was Andrea Mowry, right? That's Andrea Mowry. This one is Isabel Kramer, the Pearl Code cardigan, which is an awesome pattern. It's fingering weight. And she has you put in these, basically it's like code using pearls, and you can write words. And I'm trying to remember what all the words that I think I did words like peace, love, joy. Yeah. So anyway, so that's that. And it is in Pomp and Circumstance, is that colorway. And then let's do my other sweaters. This is one of my all-time favorite sweaters, another Isabel Kramer pattern. This is Forager, and this is Given to Rust, one of my favorite reds. And I love this pattern so much because it looks fancier and more difficult than it really is. Those are not actually cables that you see. I know Cindy Babcock had posted a question in the Swan City Stitchers about cabling, and I was like, I can't help her. Cables and I are, we're kind of, So the one sweater I'm not taking that sweater. The one sweater that I knit that has a cable running down the sleeves, and then I think also on the front. I made a mistake and then mistakenly did not go back and fix it. And now I wish I had, because it's kind of weird. So anyway, but yeah, so these are not actual cables. They're faux cables that she has you put along. And then even this cool stitching above the hem is an easy, one of my hairs is there. It looks like a more difficult pattern than it is. And so, yeah, it's just one of my all-time favorites. So then we have this one. This was, was this last? I think it's one of my more recent knits. This is the Ranunculus by, I hope I say her name right, Midori Hirose. I may not have pronounced it right, but I did this in Cavendish. I absolutely love it. I usually wear this with a white shirt underneath. So, but I have a black dress that I was thinking of taking, and this might look good over top of my black dress. I have to see. And yeah, I love that one. The Ranunculus is one of the sweaters that I'm tempted to make again in another colorway, maybe even a short sleeve version. Was it Sydney Nicholas? One of you all and I were having a conversation about it. And I remember thinking, oh yes, a short sleeve version would be awesome. So let's see. What do you like? Oh, he likes to, Bo, did y'all see Bo's comment? He likes to wear it. He's talking about the big cozy cardigan because it is big enough for him to wear. I made him a cardigan, the Oxbow cardigan, but I got to shorten the sleeves on that one for him. I should have already done that so he could take it. I don't know. We'll see if he's taken it to Nashville or not. Okay, this is another goodie, super snuggly, and it is the beautifully basic Henley by Melissa Kemmerer. Y'all probably are familiar with the Beautifully Basic Tee. This is her Beautifully Basic Henley. Obviously, it's a little bit different. I mean, she gives you this button band, which was actually very easy to do. All of it was super easy. It has a split hem down here. And then she uses, I forget what that is, it twisted rib, half twisted rib? I don't remember, but it's a cool detail on the pattern. This is another one I wouldn't mind making again. This colorway is Happy Hour. So that's a fun one. I like that too. Okay, I think that's all my sweaters. I have more sweaters, but I do have some other clothes that I want to wear that are non-knits. For example, I have a red, white, and blue flannel shirt that I actually got in Nashville last year and got it. I don't remember if it was on purpose, but on that same trip, I got this little pair of like, they look like cowboy boots, but they're like half, you know, like booties, and they're red. So they match that flannel shirt. And you know how I am about red. So yeah, I want to wear that one day. So, you know, it's all about balance, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm hoping I'll need some scarves because I have several that I'm going to take. This one is the Alexa's airplane scarf. I believe this is called by Church Mouse Yarns. And I don't think that's Pomp and Circumstance. I think I did that in Midnight. And this particular, I think that was mohair. If I had it over to do with, obviously, I would do this in fluffy lace. I believe I held the strands double. I don't know. Did I hold those? No, I don't think I did. I think it was one-stranded, but you knit a tube and you knit, and it's stockinette, and you knit, and you knit, and you knit as long as you want it to be. And I wanted it to be long because the pattern picture shows, you know, I love a luminous, however you pronounce it. Yeah, I love a big fluffy scarf that just covered everything. So I was not, and I remember this pattern at the end, I was like, okay, I'm ready to be done. But I kept pushing and I did 2 full skeins because I wanted it to be long, and I got it. So I'm happy with it. And then similarly, another scarf by Church Mouse Yarns. This is the polka dot scarf. Now this one is knit flat, but again, it's knit with one strand, and those cool yarn overs in there make for some awesome polka dots. And I believe this was 2 skeins also. I'm pretty sure it was. And again, and they had this cool, it's a little bit, no, that's not an I-cord edge. I was thinking it was an I-cord edge. Oh, that's this one. Oh, I don't remember. They don't look bulky enough to be I-cord. I think that was just slip stitches on that edging. But anyway, it's beautiful. This is in fingerlings, and this was mohair as well, which again, if I had it over to do with, I would do it in fluffy lace. But that's okay. These are awesome, and I love those. So I'm excited to be able to get to wear them. And then, of course, I have a hat. I actually have multiple hats. One of my favorite hats is this one. This is the Everyday Slouchy Beanie by, is it Dragon Horde Knits? Anyway, this, I don't know if I remember this colorway. I held it double. I held it with mohair, and I don't remember what color it was on mohair. I'm trying, and I think that's rustic is the main colorway on what is now Trusty Sock. And then I think I held it with a strand of mohair, but I don't remember. Was it fingerlings maybe? I don't know. But anyway, that's one of my favorite hats. I absolutely love that. I love all the slouch in it. And then also this one, this is a pattern that I wrote. This is the Bonner beanie. I actually have this in a couple of colors. This one's a little big for my head. I think I knit this for Connor, but then I stole it from him. Because this is Spirit of Freedom. So yeah, so that's the Bonner beanie. Obviously it fits closer to the head. And yeah, so I like that one. And then I also have a version of this in Broody. So I might take that too. We'll see. You know, you got to have all the options. And then I will also be taking these. I did not knit these. These were knit. I want to say they were knit by Barbara Albritton as a gift before a Scotland trip, I think. And these have served me well. So, and I like them because you can do other things whilst you have them on. And so, yeah, so those are awesome. Oops, excited to take them. Pardon me as I bang around. Okay, socks. I'm just going to whip right through these. So here we go. Most of these are vanilla socks. This is my Into the Highlands pair, vanilla with a short row heel, which is now my favorite type of heel, honestly, for me. They fit my heels well and they're fast and I just like them. They seem uncomplicated. So, and then this is Sand Between My Toes, I believe, another vanilla pattern. That one did use a heel flap, and you can see I have worn these well. They are well worn. Here's another set, vanilla, of course, that I did. This was, I want to say that's pumpkin pie. No, I don't know which colorway that is. This is, what is that colorway? I know it. We were just talking about it. I've got 3 words fitting through my head. Fairy, drama. It's not drama. What is it? The Sugar Plum Fairy. Is that it? Or is it the other one that's like that? I keep getting those two mixed up in my head. I'm going to have to do something about that. Anyway, that pair will be going. Ooh, my hands are getting hot. So obviously that is going to be a good choice. And then these are my 2 warmest pairs. This is the pair that started the whole shebang of holding alpaca with, and you can see I've worn these well because some of that alpaca is pilling. But anyway, I held the alpaca fingering, which I now call fluffy sock, with trusty sock. And these make for the squishiest socks and warmest socks ever. Bo says these are the only kind of socks that really keep his feet warm. So fortunately, he has 2 pairs now out of this. So he should, well, he's got a few days, a few days of warm feet. Anyway, so this colorway, one of my favorite colorways, is Hallmark Holiday. A Hallmark Holiday. Yeah, that was a vanilla sock pattern. And then my other one, of course, is, I just showed this to y'all last week. This is the Fleece Your Feet pattern done. I held 2 strands of Adalia together, and it's a short row heel, of course. So that pair. And then my last pair, this is actually worsted weight socks, but they're super scrumptious. I love them. That's the Rye sock pattern by Tin Can Knits. And I did that with bamboozled and I want to say eggplant. So yeah, is that it? That all the knits I'm taking? I'll probably pull out some more and do it tonight. I don't know what that means, Bo, because I didn't check your comment until earlier. All right. Thanks, Shannon. Yes, I do love my knit socks. And I typically have a pair of socks on the needles because can you have too many socks? Plus, they're a great gift if you know somebody's shoe size. I have a friend that I have knit for her. And then my sister-in-law likes hand knit socks. So, and Bo, and then the kids, of course, will take hand knit socks. Even Connor wears his that I made for him. So they're just great. You can make them for, anybody really. So they're great. Your sleeves. I am not, that's not happening tonight. No, I don't think so. I don't know what you take me for. That is not happening this evening. All right. What is going on? Okay. So I got a little sidetracked. Knowing that, let me tell you this before we move on, knowing that I will be at a trunk show tomorrow and then on vacation next week. Here's what's going to happen. The shop will close today. The online shop will close today at 3. If you have placed an order prior to that, I will fill it and it will go in the mail today. And then the shop will be closed until tomorrow night for the trunk show. And then after that, tomorrow night, I will reopen it. However, shipping will be put on hold through the week of Thanksgiving because I will be elsewhere. So shipping will resume Monday, December 2nd. So you are more than welcome to place an order. Please do. I would love it. And just know that your order will ship on Monday, December 2nd. Unless you order by today at 3, and then I'll get it out. Or Bo will get it out. No, I'm just kidding. I'll do it. So, all right. What else? Nani Swimo. Yes. It ends in like a week. Yeah. So do I have the prize? I think I stuck it in the closet. However, we'll talk about that. I will announce the winner maybe on the following week's live. I hate to make y'all wait that long. Maybe I'll do a social media post to announce the winner. But that means that you have a week to get your pictures into the Swan City Stitchers group of any sweaters that you're working on so that they qualify for an entry in the giveaway. It's those 3 skeins of mocha, cinnamon spice, and nutmeg, and they're on Swanky DK. So we'll talk more about that colorway soon. I will show you my progress on my sweater. So this is the Wednesday sweater. I tell you what, I was moving along on this week. So here it is. I basically finished the front this week and even did my front hem. Now, and at first when I started doing the hem, because this I do know only because I just did it. It's called half twisted rib. And it's beautiful. I love it. At first, it did slow me down a little bit, but then I eventually picked up speed and I managed to bind off. For those of you that are knitting the Wednesday sweater, you will relate to this. I don't know about you, but when I got down, so she has you knit the hem, and when you get down to the last, I think is it 4 rows, you're basically setting up for this Italian bind off, which looks beautiful. However, it has you kind of twisting the stitches, and I don't know if I twisted them one too many times, because that particular video does not have English subtitles, at least not the one that I watched. So, but I followed it. I followed what they were doing, and my stitches, they were so tight on the needle that I couldn't slide them along. I ended up taking off my size 8s and putting on a size 2 because that was the lowest interchangeable needle that I could put on there. And yeah. So then I had done all that work and set up for the Italian bind off, but I was over it at that point. I just did a knit bind off. It still looks, I think, beautimous. I don't know how well you can see it there. I think it looks great. That's the wrong side, of course. Here is the right side of it. I like it, and that's how I'm doing it. So we'll see if when I do the back hem, if I have the same issues. I suspect I will. She does have a comment at the very end to do it loosely, but by the time I was at that point, it was too late. I was too far in. You know, I think she makes the comment like when you get to the bind off. Do I have my pattern? Yeah, bind off using the Italian bind off technique, not too tightly. Well, at that point, it was too tight. I couldn't move the stitches. So I don't know. I'm sure it was me. It's usually a me problem with these sorts of things. Anyway, so now I just have to do the back hem, and I've already packed away my needles. Do I have, yep, I have my, do I have my shorties down here? I thought I packed my, let me double check while y'all are here. This isn't good. If I don't have my short, I wonder if I put them in my other bag. I may have put them in my other bag because I want to keep knitting on this in Nashville. And there's nothing worse than not having what you need. And there's like 5 yarn shops in Nashville. So if there's an emergency situation, it can be taken care of. But who wants to have to buy things? Oh yeah, here they are. These are my shorties that I'll use for the, I don't know about the neck, but at least the sleeves. So I can work on those. And who knows, maybe I'll have a finished sweater by the time we leave Nashville. Probably not, but you never know, because something else that I'm taking, if y'all saw the picture on social media yesterday, you might have noticed that I caked up some yarn. Dun, dun, dun. Oops. Dun, dun, dun. And dun, dun, dun. Oops, I did it the wrong way. This is nutmeg on top. So mocha, cinnamon spice. These were a joy to cake up, just so you know. And I don't know if y'all remember, I don't really like caking yarn. It's kind of because I have to get out my stuff. I don't keep it set up. I have my winder, or the winder itself is geared. You can do small little skeins on it, but it's also, because it's capable of doing big skeins, which this obviously qualified, I think, even though they're not bigger than normal, but because of all the fluff. So where was I going? Oh, so yeah, I don't know. I just don't enjoy caking yarn all that much, but these were a pleasure. So what am I going to do with these? Well, I hope to start. They're so soft and fluffy that they're not standing up. I hope to start this, and I intend to make a short-sleeved version of it. This is the Broom sweater. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Yeah, Broom by Andrea Mowry. So there she is. I love it. And she used a base very similar, well, a base just like the Fluffy DK. So I'm not sure how I'm going to divvy it up. I'm not going to like do math. I'm not going to math it out, but I think I'll start with the mocha on top, and then I'll go to the cinnamon spice at some point, and then the nutmeg, and then maybe I'll go back to the mocha at the bottom. I don't know. I'll have to look at the yardage and see. Who knows? Maybe I'll use all the mocha and then use all the cinnamon spice, and then what's left, the nutmeg. I don't know. I'm just going to free spirit it and see what happens. You know, that's kind of what I like to do sometimes. So also, I printed out this pattern for Morgan. This is Fins, and it's a beautiful, it's like a scarf, and it calls for, that's funny, it calls for sport weight yarn. I made this back when I first started knitting, my first go round with mohair. Can you imagine? I was a beginning knitter and doing these, I don't know if you can tell, these lacy patterns, and then trying to tink back. Woo! I remember some serious frustration in that time period. But it did teach me how to tink back with mohair, because it can be done. And so, because I had to tink back quite a bit, I remember. Anyway, I don't have this anymore because I gifted it to my mom. I don't even remember what colorway I used. I think it was a pink. I have it in my Ravelry projects page. But anyway, I printed it because Morgan was looking for something to knit with this skein of Gemini on Fluffy DK. And so, yeah, we picked this pattern because she wanted something. She said, I want something that I'll wear in Florida. I want it to be practical, because you know how it is in Florida. And because I had mentioned a hat, and she's like, I'm not going to wear a hat in Florida. Come on. So I said, all right, well, something you can wear, you know, nice that you can wear around your neck. Or you could even, as this lady has done, wear it around your waist. So, and that is Barbara Benson. She has a bunch of great patterns, actually, I've noticed. So anyway, so Morgan is going to knit that. And what's great about this pattern is that it's also easily adjustable, because this is DK weight yarn, and actually could probably be knit up at a worsted gauge because it has so much halo. So I decided, I took her a pair of size 7 needles, and we'll see how that looks. She might have to go bigger than that to kind of, you know, let it be open and airy. But it should work out well. So she's looking forward to working on that. But of course, I had to do all the work. She's busy trying to finish up she has a couple of assignments and that they're due either during next week or immediately after, and she didn't want to have to take her computer. So she's like, I've got to finish these assignments so that I don't have to take my computer. I was like, all right, I can respect that. So, all right. Yes, I might run out of room. Yes, I know, Liz, they are huge, aren't they? And that's why it was so awesome. I just thought it was so cool to knit. But these have a full, I want to say it's 246 yards. Like that's a lot for DK, but it's because it's, baby alpaca doesn't weigh as much. So you get quite a bit of yardage in a skein of this, of the fluffy DK. So yeah. And fortunately, we're not taking the dog this time. Between Connor and a dog sitter who's going to come help out when he's on the dates that he works, since he has to work 12-hour shifts, we're leaving the dog here. It's so stressful for her being in a new place. And then, we like to go out and do things and she has to be left behind and she just doesn't handle it as well as she used to. So we're leaving her at home. So we won't have all of her things to take. So I think I can handle an extra knitting bag, right? Let's hope. All right. What else do we have to talk about? Okay. Let's talk about the shop update. I've got some good stuff in there, y'all. So let me grab my little display thing here. I'm going to set it on my knees so I can show you some of my favorite things. Okay. So first of all, as promised, I found and did get some sparkly DK. So this base is the same as the sparkly sock in that it is 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 10% silver stellina. So it's 4-ply DK. And again, it is like perfectly matched to our fluffy DK. Interesting. 246 yards. Again, very generous. Or am I thinking of my yardages wrong? Anyway, maybe that's not overly generous. I was thinking it was for DK, but I might be wrong about that. All right. So sparkly DK, I did it on several different colorways. I don't know how well you can see that beautiful stellina. It definitely does not photograph as well as it looks in person. It really does look like, the stellina is just kind of floating on top with that extra 5% in there. It's so good. So yeah, so this is Swan Song. And then I also did, so the reason I did these colorways in the shop, and they're in the newsletter, if you got your newsletter, mocha, cinnamon spice, and nutmeg, going from this side from left to right. I hope it's right on your screens. Yeah. The reason I put them in the shop is that one of the ladies who came to Knitcessities and will be at She Sells Yarn this weekend said, I really would love to see those in the shop again. And I was like, okay. So I dyed some up. So, and they make just a great fade. Or obviously they're great by themselves. Like I'm doing it, I'm not fading them. I say a fade, but I'm not going to fade them. I'm just going to abruptly change color, I believe. I hadn't really thought that through. But they work nicely together or alone, or even with other things, because, so for example, so here, this is sparkly DK as well. This is Bell Schnickel. So I did some Bell Schnickel bundles on that sparkly DK. I also did it on Trusty Sock. I did this one. It's a little bit deeper, the concentrate. I put down more dye powder because I realized I like it better a little bit darker. So, where I was going with that is that the Bell Schnickel, like here, I dyed some Bell Schnickel on Fluffy Sock. And I actually put this in the pan twice because the first time I did it, I didn't put down enough dye powder and I did not like the way that it looked. but when I like it now with more of that purple or deep dark cherry, and then the greens and browns. And I noticed that, so here's the mocha on fluffy sock. Like it really pairs well. You can really make it like Belschnickel into more of a neutral, or it even goes really well with the cinnamon. Look at that. Look at that cinnamon spice. If you were wanting to pair them together, and then here it is even with nutmeg. That's not quite my favorite. I think the cinnamon spice is my favorite. Look at that. Hubba, hubba, hubba. It looks so good. So anyway, yeah, so I dyed those up. So there's a big restock there. Another thing that I did is the purple leaf plum. So I showed you all, y'all have seen it in my sweater, the purple leaf plum, and how good it looks. I mean, look at all those different colors. And then, and I think I know I showed y'all that in fluffy lace, purple leaf plum, it has this interesting green tint to it, which doesn't show up. At least that hasn't been my experience when paired with purple leaf plum on another base. It didn't turn green. You really see all those other colors coming through. So I dyed it purple leaf plum, and when I get back from Thanksgiving, I'll dye it on some more bases. But for now, I dyed it on fluffy lace, and you can see there's a lot of green looking to that, but the other colors really do come through inside there. I don't know how well you can see all those different colors, but they're in there. I love it. And here it is on Fluffy DK again. So this is interesting. Well, let me show you it on Fluffy Sock first, and then I want to tell you about an interesting phenomenon that has been happening in my dye studio. So here that, let me tell you, oh my goodness. Purple leaf plum on Fluffy Sock is to die for. No pun intended. Okay, so get this. So, and maybe this isn't the best example. So if you're not aware, fluffy lace in a skein is actually only 50 grams. So you get 437 yards out of a 50-gram skein. Most of your other full-size skeins are 100 grams. That's the standard, right? We know this. Well, in the dye studio, my dye recipes, I rarely start with a fluffy lace base. I typically start with trusty sock or, I don't know, one of the other bases, depending on what I'm doing, if I'm auditioning a colorway. And so, you know, if it's something for like the Dying to Knit dye sessions, for those, I might audition it on like Swanky Sock, if that was the most popular colorway. So it just depends on why I'm auditioning a colorway. But I usually start it on a 100-gram skein. So the dye recipes are written for 100-gram skein. But I have found that when I first started dyeing on fluffy lace, sometimes I would take down the dye concentrate because this is only half the weight of a full skein. But I, over time, realized that I liked the concentration of color, and if I couldn't cut it in half, if I cut the dye recipe in half, like let's say this takes 0.5 grams of a dye powder. And so this at half the weight, if I did 0.25 grams of dye powder, it wouldn't be enough. It would look way lighter than its equivalent on a 100-gram skein, which I've always just thought, well, that's probably because while it weighs half the amount, it has all this halo. It has way more surface area for the dye to dispense around. So I've gotten to where I just leave the dye recipe the same for fluffy lace, even though it's half the weight. And I like it. I've yet to have a skein that I'm like, ooh, that was just too much. I need to use less. However, in dyeing up Fluffy DK, which is also 100 grams, I have left the dye recipe the same because it's a 100-gram skein. However, I am noticing that the colorways do come out lighter. Y'all may remember last week when I showed you Pretty in Pink on this, and I made the comment that wow, it's super light on here. It's almost like I need to put more dye powder in. So I'm wondering, even though I don't adjust the dye recipe for fluffy lace, I'm starting to think maybe I'll want to adjust the dye recipe for the fluffy DK because, again, there's so much more surface area. For example, you can see it in my skeins. Like here's Mocha. Here it is on Fluffy DK. Now, and to be honest, dye powders do look different on different bases. Like, for example, I'm noticing that this Sparkly DK, everything, if it's a deep color, there's something about this base that it just looks so rich on this base. I don't know. I think I did notice that the undyed color is a little bit different than other skeins that I have. And so it might be that plus a combination of the silver stellina, whatever. They just look different. But you can see like there is a big difference, I think, a noticeable difference between Mocha here and Mocha on the Fluffy DK. So, and even, so this is here, this is the Fluffy sock. And you can see it's not massive, but there's a little bit of difference. So I don't know. Y'all will have to tell me what you think. Yvette, hello. It's so good to see you on a Friday. I know Yvette has to work most Fridays, and so I'm surprised to see her, but I'm glad you're here. Very nice. All right. I didn't call anybody's name out, did I, except for Valera? Oh, good. Laura says that the stellina looks great on video. That's awesome. Thank you, Lonnie. Lonnie is a color genius. So if anybody knows about color looking good, it's Lonnie. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, Tish. Yes. Do y'all have big plans? What are y'all's plans for Thanksgiving? I need to know. We, as you know, obviously will be in Nashville. So we've started going there because, well, the first time we went, I'm trying to remember, Bo will have to correct me. His daughter, Kayla, lives there. And so Kayla is, what is she now? 32? She might be 33 now. And Kayla lives in Nashville. And so I don't know why we chose Thanksgiving as the time to go see her. But we found that we actually really like the area, even though we're not big city people, but we just love I told you all that. If you don't know, then you go back a couple weeks and watch. I'll tell you all about my love for Nashville, our love for Nashville. So what we do is we get an Airbnb and it has a full kitchen and everything. But Kayla works at the Four Seasons in Nashville. So she doesn't always know if she's going to have Thanksgiving off. So what we do is if she has it off, then because Bo is great on the fly, putting together a meal. I not so much. Like I need 5 weeks to plan out what I'm going to make. But he's like, nope, we're not planning anything. If she has to work, then we'll go up. This is what we did last year. We went up to the Four Seasons and we sat at the bar where she was and we ate Thanksgiving dinner there. And I got to tell you, I was like the best Thanksgiving dinner I've ever had. Like it was good stuff. I mean, it's a Four Seasons. So anyway, and their customer service is just top notch. Wow. So anyway, that's what we do. If Kayla's not working, then we'll make a meal. And she has a boyfriend this year, so we'll get to meet the boyfriend. And yeah, but if not, then we'll just go up and eat at the Four Seasons and spoil ourselves. So what are y'all doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, a knitting retreat in Nashville would be fun. Oh, that's right, Diane. I knew that. Y'all have your Thanksgiving in October. That's right. And Liz will be working. That's a bummer. Yeah, Connor has to work too on Thanksgiving. He gets Christmas off this year, but he has to work on Thanksgiving. So be it. That's how it is. when you work for certain, that's just, yeah. Anyway, okay, couple of things I wanted to mention. The Dying to Knit Dye Studio session, which is inspired by the Red One movie, which we went and saw, and it was great. It's a good movie, good actors, and I didn't even realize that was Lucy Liu. I didn't recognize her, I guess because of the bangs, and maybe it's been a while since I've seen her in anything. So Lucy Liu is in it. She's very good. And so, yeah, it was a good movie. We enjoyed it. So, and I've already got my color inspiration for that. So I'll be working on that as soon as we get back from Nashville. And yeah, so, and because I have the yarn and all that, I'll leave that up and open until probably the week of. So maybe right after we get back from Nashville, I'll go ahead and close that down. So you've got plenty of time to think about if you want to join. Oh, and I apologize. Okay. So there was a glitch, I guess. It's probably me problem, technology and Carol. And so I set up the Facebook group, invited everybody. And then all of a sudden, Facebook tells me that I have all these new members to welcome, like 29 new members. I'm like, I don't think there were 29. So I went and looked, and sure enough, I think I had the settings wrong. So I changed the settings and tried to forgo all of that. But I think Facebook was like, too late. And so it kept the notifications for people. So I apologize if you got into the group and then I kicked your butt out. I'm sorry. I almost said it. Anyway, no hard feelings, obviously, and I apologize for that. That was definitely a Carolyn problem for sure. So anyway, but if you signed up, I think I noticed there's at least one person who's not in the group yet. So if you signed up, look for your invite in email or Facebook notifications, or you can look for the group and just request to join. It's Dying to Knit, and I'll let you in. But if you're not if you didn't sign up for it, then I'm not going to let you in. So sorry about that. Even if you got a notification, Carolyn invited you to join the group. No, I'm sorry. I got to renege on that. So take it back. Take backs. I got to do it. So I apologize. Very sorry for that. But so that is still up. And then what else? Oh, the Merry Grinchmas. Thank you all so much for your love of that. The pre-order is still up because I decided on a set amount that I'm going to dye up, and there's 2 left. So, and then that really will be it, because I'm pretty sure that 20 skeins is all that I can handle and get them out in a reasonable amount of time. The yarn did come in yesterday, and so I spent some time yesterday afternoon getting them set up and the sections, sectioned out so that they're ready to go as soon as we get back from Nashville. I'll start dyeing those up, and then I'll put Bo to work helping me get them all reskeined and everything else. Oh, that's right. Yes, we did go to Charlotte to see Genesis. That's right, on their last tour. And then we decided, and that was that was a great year. Yeah. Oh, I love that. So Laura, y'all can probably see the comment. Laura is having Thanksgiving dinner with friends. They met on the beach during a dog walk. That dogs are, I love that. Very cool. Of the 3 sparkly DK, which 2 go better together? Okay. I'm assuming that you're talking about these 3, mocha, cinnamon spice. So let's look. Kind of depends on what you're going for. These 2, so I'll just let you know from a dye standpoint, they all use, so this uses a brown dye powder, 100%. And then these 2 use that same brown dye powder with different concentrations. So cinnamon spice is the darker, nutmeg is the lighter. I really like those 2 together, but if you're wanting more of a contrast, Valera, then maybe mocha and nutmeg will give you a contrast. Now, if you're wanting harmonious, then that's tough. Nutmeg and cinnamon spice are your two darker skeins, and cinnamon spice and nutmeg then would be the lighter. And I don't think you can go wrong, because like I said, from a color standpoint, they all have the same elements of the same color. It just depends on whether you want the lighter or the darker. So if you want the darker, I would say nutmeg and cinnamon spice. If you want the lighter, cinnamon spice and nutmeg. Or if you want contrast, then mocha and nutmeg. Not that there's a huge amount of contrast, but there is more contrast available. I hope that helps. All right, what else was I going to tell you all about? Okay, yes, so the Merry Grinchmas. And then one shout out I wanted to give to Karen Sobel. I can only go by what I've seen in the group, and she is flying on her sweaters. And I happen to know because I may have dyed a little something up for her to do. I'm guessing it's her next sweater. I don't know. That's actually maybe not, but it was like a sweater's quantity. So she is moving along. I want to say maybe she told me it was a sweater that she's knitting. Anyway, so I just wanted to say, shout out to you. She has really been getting after it. And then, I wanted to tell y'all a couple of things. I meant to load some pictures, but of course, I totally forgot about that. But so I'll just tell you about them. One, I had my very first email that said, the post office says that my package was delivered, but it's not. Can you check on your end? And on my end, yep, sure enough, says post office delivered it. And as we've been told, even by the post office employees, that sometimes they say it's delivered and it's not. So I said, let me know. Let me know what happens. And maybe it's at the neighbor's house. And then the next day she sent me a picture, and it was terrible. Like, you could hardly even read the label, and the package looked like I don't know, like they had tried to maybe feed it through a machine or something. I don't know. Or maybe the driver ran over the package. I don't know. Like, I was like, wow, hopefully the yarn does not, is in much better shape than the package, because it was brutal anyway. So hopefully we don't have too many of those instances. And then also Shannon sent a compliment about the soaps, said in the soap sack kit, said these soaps are fantastic. Can I buy from your sister elsewhere? So I sent the compliment along to my sister-in-law, and because she does not sell elsewhere at this time. She likes to do it for, people that she knows, or if I ask her to do something special, then she'll sell them to me as well. But she doesn't, I guess, I don't know, for whatever reason, she doesn't want the hassle of having an Etsy shop or anything like that. But I'm glad that you are liking the soaps. So, and then I don't think I posted anything about this, but my dehumidifier this past week. And it was funny because, I have to have the dehumidifier. I do have to have the dehumidifier running on a continual basis in order to keep the process that we have, like the timing of it, the way we do it. I dye yarn in the morning, and then someone, used to be Connor, but now it's either me or Morgan, is in the dye studio rinsing later in the afternoon. And then in order for it to be dried by the next day in the afternoon when Morgan goes to twist it, then we have to have the dehumidifier running, because otherwise, with the hot pots on one side of the room and the twisting table on the other, it's not going to dry overnight. We hang them in such a way, and then I put them underneath the fan next to the dehumidifier, and they just dry perfectly in a timely manner. And so it was a little bit ridiculous. I felt I was out there because we were waiting for a new dehumidifier. And so I had the dehumidifier running only to deposit more water into the towel right next to it than what was going into the bucket. So it's pulling moisture from the air and depositing it into the towel, but at least it was pulling it out of the yarns. And so we did that for a couple of days, and then Bo ended up going to Home Depot and getting me a good one that is working very well. So, and I think equipment out there doesn't probably last as long as it might in normal circumstances. I mean, you've got yarn fuzz constantly flying around, gathering on different surfaces. And even though we clean it periodically, it does build up. And then you have all of that clogging filters that constantly have to be cleaned. And then you also have air that is thick with moisture and citric acid, which is a sticky substance. And so, we ask a lot out of these appliances. We really do. So they can only last so long. All right, so let's see. Yes, Mary. She is in your knitting group in Connecticut. Yes. And there is also a designer, Samantha, and I don't know how to, is it Gurin, who's an excellent designer that is also in the knitting group. Is that right, Mary? That was what Karen said. It was awesome. Hey, Kathy, you were knitting. Well, hey, if you're going to be late, then that's the reason to be late for sure. All right. Yes, Yvette, Sparkly DK is gorgeous. It is. And I'll be bringing some tomorrow. All right. Snail mail. Oh, no, you still haven't gotten because you're Diane. That's right. Your post office strike. Well, that stinks. Ugh. Talk about delayed gratification. That's a bummer. Well, all right. Yes, it does sound like Yvette wants a Nashville knitting retreat. Okay. Yep. Mary said she's based in Connecticut. And I think Karen is doing a test knit for her. All right. I'm sure I forgot something because I typically do when I get off. I'm like, oh, I didn't mention this. So don't forget, get your orders in by today at 3, and I will get them in the mail. And then anything after that will be, they'll ship as soon as we get back Monday, December 2nd, the first day the post opens. All right. So in the meantime, okay, next week, I think I told you all, I'm not sure yet whether I'll be doing a live on Friday, but earlier this morning, I was chatting with a certain someone, and we'll see. I've got some plans in the works, so it's up in the air, but I will let you all know on social media. I'll do a post whether we will be doing a live or not next Friday. Okay. If not, if it doesn't work out, then it'll be just a video that I'll upload later. I'm not going to give you any more details on that. Something special I'm excited about. And yeah, so I hope that you all have a great week, and I hope that you find some peace and joy, however you prefer to spend your holiday. I hope that you find that. And I said this in the newsletter, but you all, I am profoundly grateful for you all and what you have meant to me. And I just appreciate your support more than you can possibly know. So yeah. So I hope that you all have a great Thanksgiving, and I'm sure I'll take pictures and bother you all with my doings and all that. Yes, absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving, Swans. And thank you, Liz. I appreciate that. Yes. Yeah. Safe travels for everybody who happens to be hitting the road. Please be patient and kind with each other. We definitely could always use more of that, right? All right, everybody. I will hopefully see you next Friday. Yeah, take care of yourselves. Bye.